There hasn't been any comprehensive bat surveys done in Sri Lanka for over 80 years.
Somebody has to help the conservation people have a red list, something that sets off the alarm bells. Somebody who's really cool, like Burton, who's not going to jump around and wave his arms, but who's can say, let's just look at the facts, right?
The key is to catch these bats and then to positively identify them and then release them to get a good echolocation call, so this way it will match up to the species with the call. You know, hopefully down the road, this call library will be available, you know, for biologists, conservationists in Sri Lanka. And so this way they don't have to catch the bats, because, you know, that is the difficult part.
I feel like we've been all over Sri Lanka, but that's not at all true. I mean, there are many places to look still for bats. So, so that was one thing that, you know, maybe we'll have to go back to find that new species hiding somewhere here.
You get that, Grandpa? There's one species that I think is Rosetus aegyptiacus, which has not been recorded from Sri Lanka before. So it's larger than, you know, sort of the common rosette bat that's found here, Rosetus specinolti. But aegyptiacus isn't even, you know, in coastal India. It's found in northern India, and, you know, and then distributed right across, you know, to Africa. But it sort of fits in that size range. So if it does end up being aegyptiacus, then it's you know, significant, you know, range extension, or in fact it actually might be a new species that hasn't been described before. So I think that was one of the more exciting discoveries on this trip.
Sri Lanka has always had a good conservation history. That is primarily because of our people who are more animal loving or life loving, I would say, because we don't like to kill or harm animals, influenced by the Buddhist background. And therefore we have a lot of greenery, and our normal lifestyles also entail to keep greenery and animals as much as possible. You know, that's been part of the story. But of course with development we had to forego some of the best areas or some areas for development. So the conflict has always prevailed. However, there would be very few examples in the world to show where development has contributed to conservation. Sri Lanka has. The Accelerated Mahavali project is about 1/4 of the country, and within it there is 46% protected areas which were able to, and there are many like that, because most of our reservoirs, which we have a very rich hydraulic civilization based on water bodies which were all created by humans, and around all of them we have protected areas, and around the major ones we have national parks. So that all lends to the blend of development and conservation. So from lifestyles and also from the activities we have had this positive side. But there are also negative sides. One has to say that, you know, there have been increase in poaching somewhat, because the lifestyles for luxurious meat styles and things like that, which comes from the influence of the West, has fallen upon us. You see, by 1990 we had only like 36 amphibians, but today we are counting 116 amphibians, despite the fact that our forest cover, which was something like 70% in the 1948-49 period, has come down to roughly about 26-23. So it's a huge leap in terms of the numbers that we have. So that basically shows how much of diversity has not been studied in this country. So we have small problems, but I think when you look at it at an overall country-based situation, we are much positive in terms of conservation compared to most other countries where there's always a conflict in every corner. We are much more, but we still have to do better. There's nothing like saying that it is the final. We have to do better. So the potential exists to show that Sri Lanka is what I call a land like no other in terms of biodiversity.